Hello to you all and welcome. This is our third and last video about rescuing books that we had abandoned in our shelves and we forgot about, and trying to relive some of the memories they left with us when we were children or teenagers. And now we are ready in retirement with the free time we have to put to the test some of those activities we wanted to put our hands on and didn't. And today it's about crafts, arts and crafts as well. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. I'm pretty sure that all of you out there have an activity to do with your hands, to create, to manufacture, to produce something that you enjoy. And one of the joys of that is that the time it takes for you to immerse into an activity like that is usually very relaxing, very rewarding, because the results are really pretty or exactly functional for whatever you want to use them. So we all have that little bit of creativity, or a lot of creativity, inside us. I always say that creativity is something that you cannot buy, you cannot imitate, you cannot create, invent. Creativity is hiding inside you, and it comes to light when your brain is focusing on an idea of something that you would really like to do, and then it opens up with all these suggestions and fantastic ideas flowing. I can do this, I can do that, this way or another, in this style or another. And that's how you start discovering how creative you are. And believe it or not, all of us can create. But you need time, you need relaxation, you need to know exactly what you would like to do. Some people, after the age of 65 and retiring, want to start painting and they have never done it. Well, if you want to do sculpting, some want to do wood carving, some want to work with textiles, be it sewing or knitting or wall hangings in weaving. For example, there are many things. Writing a book, writing a song, writing a script for a movie. You can be creative in so many ways, but you by now, at this age, we more or less know what we really like and what we really are ready to create, to put your hands into. So usually the first advice, of course, when you haven't done anything artistic or crafty, is to take a course or to inform yourself about the techniques. If you're going to do ceramics, for example, you need to know how a turning wheel works, what kind of clays and other materials you can use, how to use your hands to shape whatever you're doing, or any other tools for more complicated ceramic statues or figurines or whatever it is. You learn the techniques, and the techniques will always be there with you. But your creation comes when you decide what you're going to do. I'm going to make a teacup. And then you have to know exactly how to give it shape. By trial and error, you learn a lot. Oh, it turned out to be too tall for a teacup, so you can undo it again. The clay can be turned into a ball again, get it wet, and start all over again, for example. Okay, so that is one thing that is useful to have, the know-how, but the end product of your creation will only be yours. There's no way in the world, no matter how much you like a painting in a museum, a sculpture in a garden, that you will be able to replicate that exactly as you see it, because it'll be just yours and it'll be different in one way or another, maybe very similar, but still it'll be your creation, very unique. So having said that, I'm filming to you today. The video is from my craft room. As you can see, lots of things there, lots of washi tapes and ribbons and stamping templates and you name it. Way back there I have lots of punches to create shapes, because I love paper crafting a lot. In the introduction you saw a couple of the paintings that I have done, one in watercolors right here, and then a doodling technique with black markers, very fine black markers, and my dot painting picture, which is only 3 years old. I had never done that. It was inspired by the dot painting technique of the Aboriginals of Australia. And when I started, I didn't even know what I was doing. It was a challenge posed by a friend of ours in a group. And I arrived home with my canvas completely white. I drew a couple of lines, a couple of circles here and there, and I thought, well, I'll start. I have plenty of inks to try, so let's start. And I didn't stop for about 4 weeks, working about 3 to 4 hours every evening when everything was quiet and relaxed. And the more I advanced, the more ideas I was getting. My brain was having a feast, throwing at me this, maybe this in blue, maybe this in yellow, maybe you can put a hill here, a river there. And as I advanced and finished the painting, I was so thrilled and showed it to my group, and they couldn't believe it. They thought it was absolutely breathtaking, and they congratulated me, and I thought, oh my goodness, well, here we go. 3 years ago, I discovered that I could do that type of painting and produce something really beautiful to my liking. There are people out there who will probably see it and say, oh, I don't like that. That's fine. That's fine. Your creations are only yours, and you are not there to satisfy or to please anyone but yourself. It's the pleasure you get from doing it, accomplishing, from completing a project and looking at it and say, wow, I did that by myself. It was my idea. It is my design. So it is a very rewarding activity to have in our retirement years, because now we have more time to do something in relaxation. You know, at times in the busy years in the past, we may have had a few minutes, 1 hour here and there, but then for one reason or another, we always had to interrupt what we were doing when we liked it the most. The phone will ring, the children will need something, the husband will be late and you have to finish fixing dinner, and you know, there's always something. There was something there, always interrupting, always breaking the magic of that flow of creativity. And it turns out that many people in those circumstances abandon their projects because it's just too much to take in. So now we're retired, we're a little bit more relaxed, all the pressures of the past are gone, and we can embark on a project. So as you could see in the introduction, you saw the paintings, you saw also 2 or 3 pictures of cross stitch that I have done in embroidery. Those are not my designs, but I got them on a chart and I had to put them together. And when they are like that, those are very complicated ones. It takes me sometimes months to finish one, because you may be working with shades of blue, and I have about 10 or 12 shades of blue, and you have to look at it with a magnifying glass, good light, because each stitch is less than a millimeter wide. So when you put all those blues together, things start getting a little bit blurry. So you have to be very careful how you measure, how you follow your own patterns, and those are the techniques I'm talking about. You learn the know-how, how to avoid mistakes this way or another, in which direction to embroider, you name it. Once you know that, of course, it helps a lot. But the end product is only yours, and it is just beautiful. You also saw some of the cards that I have made, and paperwork for me is just paper crafting. I love it. I love paper and pens and things. I'm very, very happy in a stationery shop, a big one, or a craft shop. And more than going to buy clothes or shoes, take me to a paper stationery warehouse and I'll have a feast. I love it. And the papers that you saw there were designed by me, definitely, and painted by me. I don't buy wrapping paper anymore, so I create my own 3-dimensional designs like boxes and bags in order to wrap and present a gift. And I love that. I love that. I have done hundreds of them in many ways, and one day I'll make a video just to show you the projects that I can make, and probably make one on video for you to follow for those who like paper crafting. And that is just about it. The other thing that I enjoy outside the desk or the working table is my garden. I love to design, do a little bit of patio or garden decor. Not landscaping, I'm not good at that. That's too big for me. But I love to rearrange my pots and my plants and make everything look very artistic and lovely to me, of course. I have seen many gardens of my friends that are breathtaking, and I would love to replicate that, but I can only manage to do what I can do so far. So having said that, I'm going to introduce you to some of the books that I have been using for years to see how we go. Now let me start with cross stitch, which is a favorite of mine. I started doing cross stitch when I was 7 years old. I did my primary school and most of my high school in a Catholic school for girls, and the Spanish nuns are absolutely magical with their handwork. Absolutely beautiful. So we had to learn quite a few things, and of the 3 or 4 embroidery techniques that we were taught, and I didn't like very much, I really loved cross stitch. And cross stitch, this is a book that I bought years and years ago, full of lovely ideas and patterns and perfect charts with all the instructions about what colors to buy, what brand, and the instructions on how to start the work. There's a little bit of technique there because you cannot just start anywhere you want. But there are lots of lovely things here. And then I have another one here. Many years ago I bought that as well. Now that's a very difficult project to make in cross stitch, but it is a challenge and I love it. The more difficult and challenging it is, the more I get into it. And my children gave me this book years ago when they knew that I was head on to cross stitching, and it has lovely pictures, and it just gives you an idea of what it is, the picture you see, as opposed to turn that into a cross stitch project. So it gives you all the colors, the charts, and when you finish it, it's just simply beautiful. I love that. And the other one is very interesting. Design your own cross stitch. Now that is really wonderful. I did learn how to create a design and put it onto graph paper, and it takes a while, and you have to more or less visualize ahead of yourself what exactly you want to put on that paper to make it look like something, whatever it is. So it has lots of simple ideas. It starts on something very simple. I'll show you a few things here to give you an idea. It was done by a beautiful lady, Shirley Watts, and she learned in the United Kingdom, South America. So it gives you something like this, basic techniques with very detailed, easy to follow instructions. So that's how I really learned about techniques. I never took a course except for what I learned when I was a child in school. And for many years, I never did cross stitch until I was grown up, married, and with children already. So with books like this, I was teaching myself and picking it up again and reproducing a few things. Now, I have also bought a million magazines about cross stitch. This is to make small projects for cards. And believe me, I had such a big arsenal of magazines for cross stitch that I ended up calling a friend of mine who gets together with another friend, and they're very fond of cross stitching, and I gave them all the magazines. She was so thrilled with it that she just came with a card made by herself to say thank you and a present. And I thought, no, don't do that, because it is the pleasure of knowing that somebody likes cross stitching as much as I do. So these are samples of it. You see Christmas projects and beautiful edgings for your little tablecloths or whatever you want to do. You know, you can use the designs any which way you want. Then this one is a magazine that I was subscribed to for many years. This is put out by Jeremiah Junction in the United States, and they specialize on these vintage Federation designs that are absolutely beautiful. They tend to use colors that are very deep, like dark greens, burgundies, mustard colors, and they turn absolutely gorgeous designs. And I really have had a feast making some of the things they do, you know, very, very much American style. So that's something that I look at, and if I don't like that particular project, I can use any of these features to create my own. It is the lovely part of it is the idea that they combine their colors and motifs in a very beautiful way. So I love that. And of those, I gave away probably 30 magazines, just of them. And then I used to collect and cut out projects that I saw in magazines at random, because I found them lovely. And one of them was this. This is from the World of Cross Stitching magazine here in Australia. And it is absolutely lovely to do that. Those I made, they are beautiful to make. You can make them in any color. Then we have here mini motifs and designs in cross stitch. So you can, you know, if you're making a picture of any kind for a baby room or for your dining room or for your little individual tablecloths, you can put corners in them, you can put little motifs, and it triggers a lot of ideas and things that you feel like trying. You think, oh wow, yes, I will do that. And of course I have Christmas cross stitching. Now that is something that I do every year, and I just love it because of the joy and the colors and the fact that I can make things for my friends, all Christmassy things in cross stitch, and it is lovely. I think it's lovely. It is well charted. See, there's a chart there, and all you have to do is just follow that. And once you know how to do cross stitch, that's a very simple thing to do, but very lovely. It's just lovely. Now, speaking about complicated projects, which are the ones that I like, it seems to be a masochism in me when I do cross stitch, but not really, because the end result is worth every single sweat and tear that I went through while making it. And this is one of them, the Angel of Cross Stitch. Now look at that. If you look at it closer, when you enlarge it with your phone, you realize that there are motifs there so minute, and they cross and overlap each other, so you have to be very concentrated to do that. So I finally managed to go to Special Stationery Shop here, took the chart, and I said to him, please copy this in as large a measurement as you can give me. So the largest that he could do was an A3, which is quite large, so that I could follow the stitches. And I now even have glasses for cross stitch embroidery, because I need to look closely with good lighting and make sure that I'm using the right hues of colors. It is not easy, but it is challenging, and if you overcome that, oh, you'll be so thrilled. Now, passing on to other things as well, apart from my cross stitching, of course, I did a lot of textiles. This little book about crocheting, believe it or not, I bought it 50 years ago in New Zealand. And I made all the blankets for my baby when she was born, booties and bonnets and beautiful things. Once I got the hook of it, oh boy, I never stopped making projects for a while. Now it's been years now since I have made them. Now, as you can see, these magazines in those days were not as glamorous as today. So this is not in color, but that's a blanket that I made. It looks difficult, it is not. Once you get your hands into it, it's a repetition of stitches and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And of course they have their kaftans and things to do in many colors, in many sizes. You can make a blanket for your dining room for the winter. So lots of lovely things. And they also give you, the basic techniques on how to start and how to do things. So that's how I taught myself how to crochet. I never went to a course or anything, but this little book was magical. And I keep it because I know that one day I want to do, again, something in crochet, now that we have so many beautiful yarns in the shops. So that's one thing I will do combined with knitting. I used to knit a lot in the winter, which I taught myself as well with the guidance of a friend. So there's always something in my hands, always, to be made, and I love that. I think it's very, very special. And I hope you all have, it's usually the girls and the ladies who have these things. Men are more into painting and wood carving or writing or sculpting. Some gardening. Artistic gardening presentations are made by men. They're very, very skillful at combining things and metallic sculptures with these trees or that. And I love seeing that because creativity is magical. It always makes you feel like there's always something that you didn't know about, that you had not seen before. How lovely, and that you would love to try. But if you know what you really are good at or you're capable of doing, you don't need to worry about replicating every single craft and art object that you see, because otherwise we would need to be 120 years old or so. Now I'm going to give you a quick, simple tour of my craft room so you can see all the materials and equipment that I use constantly, because I'm always doing paper projects. You can see my working table, which is a disaster zone, because when I work with paper, I have all sorts of things on the table, handy and ready for me to use. But it is the fun room in the house where I create. And I only sit here when I really have the time to play some soft music, never grab a coffee or anything else, because you don't want to have an accident all over your textiles, all over your papers, your designs. Disaster. So one rule, no, never take a cup of coffee onto your working table when you're working on designing and using different materials, because the possibilities of knocking that cup on top of your work are very high. And I say it by experience, of course. Not nice to admit, but I have, and I have cried because of that. In any case, enjoy the tour, and I'll be with you later to say goodbye. Hello and welcome to my craft room. This is where all the creativity takes place. I will give you a short tour before we continue with our book rescue, and this time it's going to be craft books or arts books for some. So we have here all my shelving, multiple pens of multiple colors, brushes for shading, alcohol inks. Then we have, of course, folders, monocolored papers, Different drawers with different little items for crafting. We have glues and adhesives here. We have stamping blocks here, all used with alcohol inks and others. Little knickknacks. We have here a lot of glues, glitter glue, my cutting mini cutter, my Stampin' Up cutter, all the monocolor papers in cream and white, storage of embellishments. And this is the table I work from, usually, with all my usual measuring charts here. This is my next project, making boxes for tea candlelights, okay? And my guidebook where I write all my templates, like this one, which is to make a bookmark, and I'll show you a few samples. Some ribbons that I'm planning to use. These are all printed labels. Paper ready to be printed with messages to be attached to my little gifts. Then that's a little bit of leftover from watercoloring. And then I have my board here to measure. These are the last projects I made with the template I just showed you. These are bookmarks. The bookmark goes inside the case. So each one has a bookmark inside, and I decorate the outside and then keep them as presents for future things. This is a more professional guillotine cutting machine. Okay, and this board is usually for scoring. So this is just for scoring, where I'm going to do folds with paper. And then we have here lots of things. Okay, these are all printed papers of many kinds. These are, for example, as opposed to the monocolor papers that I just showed you, lovely papers that I buy from Stampin' Up, which is gorgeous. These are all metallics and glitter papers. Very useful for a lot of very beautiful projects. And of course, my music corner always has to be with me. Now here I have stored some blocks of paper and little things to embellish. There are lots of miniature little things. Then I have my punchers to create different shapes. They're a lot of fun to use. You can cut a lot of things. There's some large ones here for strip labels. Then there's papers and everything Valentine's related. My catalogs these catalogs are from Stampin' Up as well. I collect them because they have beautiful ideas. A lot of storage. Here at the bottom, I have a box of punches as well, miniature ones. And that green box up there has a lot of things for watercoloring. That's a different story. There are stamping, embossing, jelly plates. Then I have all the stamp sets. All of these are from Stampin' Up when I used to be a demonstrator. I'm not a demonstrator at present, but I am in touch with my demonstrator, the head demonstrator, and I think it's beautiful to keep in touch. They have lovely things. Now here I have all my washi tapes and a ribbon dispenser, mostly Christmas, of course. These boxes are just Christmas embellishments and papers that I use only in December. And then over here, I have another cupboard. I'll show you where I keep labels on the right, patterns for card making kits. And then I have here black and metallic inks, daubers to apply the inks, fillers to refill when the pads get dry or worn out, a lot of beautiful alcohol inks. They're also from Stampin' Up, markers and blenders. Then in those boxes, I keep the collection of cards that I have been making. Then I have here cutting boards, you name it, all the things that you need to make envelopes, little boxes, etc. Then I have my cutting machines down there. Okay, to emboss and use with cutting dies. My heat gun for embossing. And that's just about it. Let me see if I can turn this on for you. Okay. That's a card a good friend made. I just love it, using vellum and other things. So we get inspiration from one another when we manage to get together and create something. So I hope you liked it. It's a very small space to work on, but very crowded with all the things I need. And this is where I'm happily creating and designing. Well, I hope you enjoy the tour, and it gives you an idea of what it's like to be a crafter, a designer. I have seen better than mine, believe me. I have friends who have absolutely gorgeous working areas, many more things than I have, and I think I have a lot. In fact, I have had to put a stop on my buying things for a while and put a sign on my head that says, Yvonne, use what you have. You have lovely things sitting there, and it's lovely to look at them. I am a collector of papers, of design papers. Oh, I love it. But I have not used, honestly, half of it, half of any of this, and half of any of the things that you have seen in the tour. Hopefully I will this year, because I am sticking to my rule not to buy any more unless absolutely necessary, you know. But to use what I have, and I have so many ideas going through my head with all the materials that I have, that I'm going to have a really, really good time crafting and designing and preparing the presents. You know, I've already completed in February all the Christmas little presents and boxes and bags that I will give away this coming Christmas 26. And then we have, of course, periods like St. Valentine's, then comes Mother's Day, straight after that, Father's Day, and then we have birthdays, graduations, births, weddings, you name it. So it's a very important part of my work. Anytime somebody sends me an invitation to an event of some sort, well, I'm happy as anything, because I will be designing something really special. And usually I do mix and match projects. Like I would make a box to, you know, to give somebody whatever the present is, and then I'll make the cards and the labels and anything that accompanies it exactly the same. So I design just for that person, for that occasion. And I love it. I just love the results, and it is unique. I know at least that there's nobody in this planet has made one just like mine. which is very arrogant, isn't it? But no, it's just that I love it. I think it's very special for somebody to receive something made out of my hands, because I have experienced the opposite. When friends or relatives have made something out of their hands to give to me, it is a treasure for me, because this came from the heart and from your own creativity, the fantastic ideas that flow through your head, and you gave them to me in your beautiful present. So happy crafting, happy artisting, and more than anything, happy creativity. Create, don't hesitate, don't worry about it. Who likes it? Well, it doesn't matter. The real thing is that you like it. And if you don't like it, throw it in the bin and start again. So we'll see you in the next one. I don't know yet what the next one will be about, but yeah, we'll be there probably next week, and I hope to see you then. Please send your comments if you want to. I would love to know what you're doing with your crafts, if you have any particular special ability or skill to do something. I know some of the people in my groups are fantastic designers and painters and drafters, you know, people who can do a design and flowers and birds and things. I'm very bad with natural things. I don't know what happens with my brain. I see something and it's beautiful, and you give me a piece of paper and a pencil to put that on the paper, and it turns out like anything but, honestly. Wow. In an artist class that I had at university in New Zealand once, you know, we were given this beautiful vase of flowers. My friend next to me, we decided to take the course together, and she's an artist. She replicated that in such a beautiful way, and I thought, well, it mustn't be that difficult. And when I tried, honestly, my flowers all look like the flowers that we paint when we're 4 years old for our mom and dad or our granny's Mother's Day card. You know, a few little petals with a little round in the middle, and that was it. And I just said to my friend, there's no way I can do it. I try to follow the lines, the outlines, and it doesn't work. So I gave up on natural things. I'm very good with geometrics though. I like Picasso a lot. Oh yes, that's my type of painting, my type of design. All the geometrics, all the you know, figures that really don't represent something except what you see in them and what you want to see. So this little picture is a perfect example of that. So the background is all watercolor shading, and then I just started doodling and playing around with my markers, and that's the result of it, and I just love it. I think it's beautiful. Some people may think it's just a crazy thing that's good for nothing. Oh, but it was my first. So hopefully I'll be able to give you better surprises next time with better quality and more artistic designs and pictures, hopefully. So I'll see you there in the craft room or the art school, wherever you are, maybe in the meadows, next to the river, next to the sea, with your canvas and your paints, doing something, or maybe at home just preparing all your knitted winter gear, anything you want to do. But tell me about it. I'd be very, very curious to know. Have a lovely weekend. Here is Sunday. Yesterday was the 25th of April, which is Anzac Day in Australia. Very important day to commemorate those who went to war. And other than that, tomorrow has been declared in some states in Australia a holiday as well. So many people are away with the kids, enjoying the break. And then Tuesdays, back to reality. Fortunately for you, like me, the reality will be the reality of a retiree. Happy, relaxing, and with no hassles whatsoever. See you then.